Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks for joining us. We hope that for those of you who have been up early with little kids and unwrapping presents already and enjoying Christmas as a family, we hope you're having a great time. For those of you who might catch up with this message, this Christmas message, a little bit later, we hope whatever you're doing today, whoever you're with, that you have a wonderful day today. And thank you for the privilege it is for us to just be a small part of your day. I just wanted to share a short reflection with you, if that's okay. I'm going to be reading from Matthew. Matthew chapter 2, and it's from verse 1 to 12. And it's the visit of the Magi. And this is how it goes. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the time of King Herod, the Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Christ was to be born. "In Bethlehem, in Judea," they replied, "for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will be the shepherd of my people Israel." Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out the exact time that the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and make a careful search for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me, so that I too may go and worship him." After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, incense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. Not long ago, I was driving and I came to a set of lights, and let me paint the picture of this scenario for you. That I was at one of those traffic lights where there is a right turning lane that had a green arrow. So I was waiting for this green arrow, and then on the other side of the road, a ute came around, a small truck came around the corner, and as it hit the corner, it lost its load, and it had what looked like long metal pipes stacked on the back of the tray. And they completely lost all of these metal pipes onto the road, and as a result, it blocked the road, and cars were coming the other way, trying to turn right onto that street, and couldn't. And cars were banked up, and there were two guys in this ute who got out and frantically started to try and lift these heavy poles off the road. And what happened was that people began to toot their horn, and because some of them didn't know what the hold-up was, and others could see what the hold-up was, and no doubt they were busy trying to get somewhere in a hurry, and they were being held up. It was an inconvenience to them, and they started to toot their horn. Now, what happened next was a group of guys also rolled up in their car, didn't toot their horn, and immediately got out of their car to go and help them. Now, I was in the right-hand lane, and I was first off the rank to turn right. I got out of my car to give them a hand, and the guy behind me got out of his car to give them a hand. So we went on to the other side of the road, and all of us were trying to move these metal poles off the road. And as we were slowly getting through it, other people started to arrive as well to help out. Now, for me, unfortunately, what happened was the green light, the green arrow actually came on and I should have been turning right, but I was on the road, and so was the guy behind me. So the person who was third behind us began to toot his horn and yell at us to get back into our car because the arrow was green. But what we decided to do is we decided to stay with this with these two guys, and in a short amount of time, it wasn't really that long, in a short amount of time, a number of us were able to help these two guys get these metal poles onto the nature strip, and then they could move their car out of the way, and everyone could go about their business again. Now, here's what I want to say to you, that there was an inconvenience in this, that people were going about their day and needed to get somewhere in a hurry, and they felt inconvenience, and the first thing that they decided to do was honk their horns and toot their horns and yell all sorts of things. And when the green arrow for me turned green, and for the guy behind me, we started to get some advice from some of the drivers who were behind us, and they were tooting their horns at us as well. But to be honest with you, we only inconvenienced them for probably 5 minutes at the most. 5 minutes out of their day, 5 minutes out of their life, and they were on their way not long after that. What I saw was a small group of guys decide to do something different. Rather than sit and become impatient or to make judgments on these two guys, I saw a small number of people get out of their cars to help out, to be a blessing, to open their treasures, to give their gifts, and to do something that was different to the rest of the drivers who were at that intersection. And I'll tell you what, these two guys were very, very appreciative, very, very appreciative. And it was really nice to do something good for these guys, even though around us we had caused a little bit of chaos, and there was lots of, some angry words and some tooting of the horns. What I'm trying to say to you is that Christmas is about Jesus coming into the world and doing something different in a world of chaos, where everything around him was, where there was people being inconvenienced, people wanting their own thing, and people wanting to do their own thing, people being focused on themselves. Jesus offered something different, where he would stop in the midst of that chaos. He would stop and he would be a blessing to people. He would be a blessing, and he would help people and get alongside people, even though it was inconvenient for so many other people. When Jesus healed the sick, and when Jesus spent time with sinners, and when he spent time with women, and when he raised Lazarus from the dead, all these things were an inconvenience to the religious leaders and others who really prided themselves on keeping things and people in their places. But Jesus came in to that, and he did something different. He went against the grain, and he opened his treasures, and he gave the wonderful gifts of salvation and of healing and of transformation, of justice, of purpose. And this certainly rubbed people up the wrong way. And in Jesus' time, he had plenty of people who were yelling abuse at him and tooting their own horns at him as a result of what he did. What I'd like to say to you this morning, as we celebrate Christmas together, as we celebrate the coming of Jesus, maybe today could be the beginning of us doing something a little bit different. That we could open our treasures, that we could give our gifts, rather than being preoccupied with what's going on for us and needing to get somewhere in a hurry, and being upset or inconvenienced by the things that happen in life, by the chaos that takes place, to actually step into the fray, step into the chaos, and be a blessing for people, to do something, to go against the grain and do something completely different from what this world knows. And that's what Jesus did. That's why Jesus came. He offered something and did something completely different to what the world in his day knew. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here. To do something different, to offer the world something completely different to what they've known. Something of value, something of peace, something of love, something of hospitality, something of generosity, something of hope and transformation that comes only through Jesus. This is why Jesus came. This is what Christmas is about. So what I'd like to say to you is enjoy your Christmas today. Enjoy going and visiting your friends and family. Enjoy the food that you will partake in, and enjoy the presents that you will no doubt get. But may it be undergirded with a new sense of commitment and purpose to modelling something different for our world. As we receive today, may we also open our treasures and give our gifts and give something of value, of love, of hope, of transformation for people that we come across today in a world that is in chaos. Given the year that we've had, people in our lives need this more than any other time. So, and today is not just the end of that we don't just do this for Christmas, that we make this part of our lives. We live our lives like this, just like the Magi did in chaos. Herod, he desperately didn't want this child to be born, and there was chaos because Jesus was arriving, and he got together the chief priests and the teachers of the law, and they were all disturbed. In other words, the coming of Jesus brought chaos, but the Magi were generous, opened their treasures, gave their gifts. In a world of chaos, we as followers of Jesus can open our treasures and give our gifts for the glory of the kingdom. You have a great day today.